I think that's a good segue into with the ID card. So yeah, you do get a new ID number. So for students, you should expect an email from Seattle colleges on February 16th outlining how to register for spring and what to do about your ID. You won't be able to activate your ctcLink, your account, until Monday, March 1st. So that week where what we call our go live date, that February 22nd, where we turn on the new system, students won't be able to get in and activate their account until we return on March 1st for open business. So I think that will be a really important date. And so for continuing students, our spring registration starts on March 3rd. I just want to pop some dates for students. So you should be thinking now, like if you need to meet with an academic advisor or a counselor in your program or something to get some support for registering for spring, because that will be a tight timeline and it will probably be difficult to get a meeting on the books. So please, please, please hear that. And then also March 15th is when your tuition is due. So I just want to get some important dates just on your radars. And then I see a question in the chat. Let me pull that up. So so you won't be sent an ID card. So that we'll do, you have to come into the building to do, but it's your ID number. So yes, it will be different. And this is true for employees as well. So if you've memorized your number, you will be getting a new number and have to figure out a good way to memorize your new number. I hope that answers your question.
And I think we should emphasize that you will get an email asking you to activate your ctcLink account, which gives you that new student ID number. So all of that will be done by email. So it will be important for you as students to respond to email from the colleges during this time.
Yes.
One of the other questions in the chat is about students who are very close to graduating and will need specific classes this last quarter, and very nervous about getting the classes that they need because classes may fill up quickly, and those are the classes that they need to graduate. So what are we going to do to make sure that students get the classes they need to graduate?
So I think that's why I was trying to encourage folks that are on this meeting, but if your friends that couldn't be here today, if you need advisement around course selection for spring, get it so that you're not waiting until March 1st trying to activate your account and go through the new process, and reach out to staff for guidance. And so I hear the stress about getting your classes as you're wrapping up the quarter. I just think you need to plan early and register right, when your registration time is for returning students.
So there's a clarifying question, meaning if they register, no, it will not reset. So registration is not even going to open up until March 3rd. So it's after the ctcLink has gone live. So you won't be able to register until then. And then there's not going to be a reset of whatever classes you've registered for.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sheila. I misread that.
Yeah, I want to follow the train of thought around information and way in which students will be receiving updates, etc. So emails are, as you know, the way in which we do a lot of communicating with our students. So we do encourage students to be mindful and be sort of looking out for email information that will come your way. But there are a couple of other ways in which you can gain some information. And if you could share this with the students that you know and in your classes. On our website, there is a ctcLink banner in there that I would encourage you to be familiar with in case there are additional questions that you have to access that. So that's one. Outside of the email, we do have our Seattle Central phone application our phone app, Seattle phone app, that we encourage you to upload to your phone and utilize as a way of obtaining information. It's one of our social media sort of access to students that our Information Central team really utilizes to share information with students. So I encourage you, if you have not done that, to upload that and use it as a way of asking questions, communicating, because it's helpful. And again, our Info Central staff, student staff leaders there can also provide you with information. And in addition to that, of course, is Canvas will also share information through that process, as well as then our other social medias like Facebook and Twitter, etc. So please be thoughtful in considering those resources for information, because it will be helpful. And you can always send us a tickler and ask questions as well.
Yeah, I popped in the chat just the CTC newsletter that went out to students, just to bring it as a refresher, because it does outline the key dates that were touched on and the language around, because I see another question around the new SID. So when we say ID and SID, that's the same number. So yeah, you will get a new, what we're calling in ctcLink an ID number, student ID number. So Sydney, I hope that addresses your question. And an email will be coming out to all the students on February 16th about the ID card number and how to register. Sorry, I'm trying to look at, let me mute and I'm going to look at the next question or comment.
And I want to answer the question that about students who are not in the US right now. You will get an email, it will come directly to you. So it won't go to your consultant. So students you'll need to look out for your email and that email will come to you directly. So make sure that you respond to that and set up your ctcLink account.
Yes, and can I respond to the question from Drew? I will be graduating spring quarter and have a majority of my credits from an institution that is out of state four-year institution. So Drew, if you had your transcripts from the four-year institution submitted, official transcripts sent and officially evaluated. So if you go in now and you see in our current HP system your classes, then yes, they will be transferred over to the new software. That's why that's part of the long process that teams have been engaging in across the colleges around data and user testing and testing. In fact, I think they're spending yesterday and today just testing to make sure accounts have transferred over so that we don't lose that. So if you have had them officially evaluated by our transcript evaluator and they show up now, they will show up in the new system.
Thank you so much. So again,
and congratulations on graduating, and please apply for graduation, Drew. Yeah.
So again, thank you so much. Remember, we have an allotted time for Q&A, so please just feel free to write your questions in the chat, and remember that we'll make sure to get back to all of them. So the second question the second topic is, on or before February 22, how can students prepare for the transition? So do we have to change any passwords? Do we have to wait? Do we have to update any information? And also, who do we contact if we notice that something's not right with the system?
So on February 22nd, students won't really be able to do much because you won't be able to activate your student ctcLink account until March 1st. But once you have activated it or you're having trouble, there'll be like little Zoom chat rooms with IT that you can pop in. Like if you're having trouble registering or having trouble activating your account, and there'll be IT folks to help walk students through that. And also that email that's coming out on the 16th will have instructions on how to do that. we don't, I can say it super clearly, but there also is the ctcLink app that you can download for the school. And so you can do it from your mobile device, your, laptop, and your computer. It will work on all of those technologies. So if you try and do something around ctcLink on February 22nd or that week, you're not going to be able to do anything as a student yet until March 1st.
I do want to reiterate something that Dr. Yoshiko said earlier, and that is that if you are getting ready to graduate, make sure that you're doing your advising appointments now, so before February 22nd. And Drew noted that he had already had his transcript evaluated, but if you have issues about transcript evaluation from other colleges, get that done now before the 22nd. So those are some of the things that you can be doing ahead of time, so that when March 1st comes, you know which classes you're going to take, you know what you need to register for, you can go in quickly, get your new student ID number and register for your classes. So any advising appointments that you need to get done, I would recommend that you do those before February 15th.
Sorry, having a little trouble with my mouse. I can't stress that enough, that the planning now, because it's heartbreaking when students can't get business done in time. So please take the time now to get that appointment, especially with advising, those appointments can fill up. And so go into your Starfish account and make an appointment, or reach out or call advising and get on someone's schedule.
So one of the questions was classes that we've taken before, those credits are continued or restarted. Any classes that you have already taken that are on your transcript will be carried over to the new system. You will not lose any of the work that you have already done. And in fact, it'll be easier for you to see courses. If you've taken courses at multiple community and technical colleges in Washington, you'll be able to see all of those in one place.
Yeah, Alex, can I touch on some of the good things about the change? Because we're not putting students through all of this change for nothing. It really will be, a single system, self-service. You can access it 24/7. So you're not having to wait during department hours or office hours. You will be able to register, view your financial aid management stuff if you have that. You can see your transcripts, those that you've earned at the college or those that you've had transferred in. And it's across all 34 community technical colleges. So we've been using the system, I think, from the 1980s or something, Dr. Sheila. So we're excited to have this technology, even with some of the pain points. It's just a massive transition. But ideally, it will give students more flexibility, be one place they have to go instead of multiple logins, and make your lives easier, which is why we've invested. I guess we first started this project as a system in 2010, so why we've invested now 10 years trying to change our community technical college system in transition.
And go ahead, Dr.
The connection to our financial systems and payment systems also is going to be a lot easier. So paying your bills will be a lot easier with this new system.
Yeah, I was just going to say that having a single ID across the state will also make it easier for students to be able to access. There have been other colleges, just as I said, FYI, that have already gone through this process. So we're not the first ones to experience it. So that's a good part, number one. And then number two, part of what's been going on behind the scenes is in preparation. The fact that we're closing is to smooth that transition so that when you log in and do all of that work come March, it'll make it seamless for you. I think that the piece that I think of from a student's perspective is that during that quiet time where students are not able to access, the system directly in February, that some of the students may not know what's going on. So this is where you're being here right now and having this information, you will play a important role in sharing this information with your fellow students wherever you can, so that they will, I can just imagine a student going in and trying to do something within the system in February, at the end of February, and not knowing what's going on, and feeling like, why can't I do this? That will obviously create some concern. But it is in preparation for March, and if you can just spread the word that this is happening, and know that the access will then be opened up again, it will, at least having the information will make things not so mysterious and awkward for individuals.
Yes, thank you, Ricardo. So if Dr. Sheila, Dr. Yoshiko, if we don't have anything to add, we can move on to just fully answering any questions or concerns that students may have.
So there's a question in the chat about when My Central will be shut down. And I'm, Yoshiko, is that the registration portal, My Central?
Yes. So I want to say the 21st or something. Let me check that date. I mean, I think butts right up with when we go live. So that's what I saw that question. I was trying to look in my notes. So give me a second and I'll get back on that one. Thanks.
Dr. Sheila, Dr. Yoshiko, and Ricardo, I did take the questions, and I do have them in a Word document to make it easier for all of you.
Great. And then Sam asked a question about apply to another Washington Community College before attending Central and had a ctcLink account, even though I never attended. Do I need to find those old login credentials, or will I activate a whole new account? That's a good question, Sam, and I don't know the answer to it. If you registered with a college that had already gone through the ctcLink transition, that ID, you're only going to have one. So I'm not sure how the system will recognize that piece. It may be as they're asking you to activate your ctcLink account, it may flag you as already having one. Oh yeah, so it was Spokane, and Spokane was in the first round of ctcLink transition. So yes, that account number that you got from them will be the one account number that you will have even for us. Okay, and then someone answered the question about My Central will be down 1 week before and 1 week after ctcLink start. And so that's when it will be reactivated, Sydney. And then, yes, you will be able to register normally, just be a different platform that you'll be using, but it will be very similar to how you register now. And just confirming that, yes, it is not affecting your credits or transfer or courses that you have already completed. It will just, you'll be able to see them on a different platform, but nothing, all of your information should transfer over to the new system. And that's what we're doing, all this testing and checking to make sure that all of the records transfer over. Some of the first colleges like Spokane and Tacoma, which were the first ones to do the transition, had a lot of difficulty. Because we're in the fourth round, we have learned from those colleges, and we have, and then the statewide system has adjusted to some of the problems that they had at Spokane and Tacoma, so that those of us in the fourth round are not going to experience those kinds of difficulties. Now, it's not to say that it's not going to be disruptive, because having our systems down for 2 weeks is going to be hard for students. And as Ricardo was saying, people are going to go into the system and it doesn't work, and a lot of frustration. So that's why we're trying to get the word out just about the change, so that, for 2 weeks, you're not going to be able to access services. So Jaleesa has her hand raised.
Hi, you guys. I'm sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to say I am an associate with the admissions office, and I would be happy to help everyone with this process. We are also learning and are in transition, but as I learned through this forum and also the training that we do next week, I'm going to also start working on answering questions about people's concerns. And I see it's a lot right here, and it's also a bit consistent with Dr. Yashik. Oh God. Yoshiko. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. With the student services and also Dr. Edwards. So I really look forward to working with everyone, and I'll take the best notes I can.
Great.
Thanks, Lisa.
So Alex asked, can we still sign into Canvas and the normal? Yes, Canvas is not going to be impacted by ctcLink. And in fact, we're going to use Canvas to get a lot of messaging out. So we use email, but we're also going to use Canvas to get information out to students. And then advising appointments, you can sign up for advising appointments using Starfish. And so that is the way that we're encouraging students to do advising appointments.
Yes, if I can underscore that, please, 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 please. I mean, when we have normal ramp up time for next quarter registration, it can be challenging to get an advising appointment. So please utilize, make my staff work. They're working super hard and they're ready, but please put that on your to-do list. Don't be a college student like I was many, many years ago. Where I would say, oh, I'll get to that next week. This would be really important. And I hate it when it's heartbreaking when students can't get into classes that they need or get into the advising appointment in a timely way so they can register. Alex, did you drop in advising appointments for graduation or?
Oh, yes. That was a PM'd question. So asking who to schedule advising appointments with for graduation.
Yeah, so you have to apply, if you think you're getting ready to graduate or you should be close, you have to officially apply for graduation. And that means all your records will be officially evaluated. And so that form is on the registration website. And then an evaluator will take what you've done, look at what you said your degree or certificate goal was, and then map what you've completed to the requirements. Then they send you out like, okay, yes, this is what you need to take. That's the official record. So if you meet with an advisor and you feel like, oh, I think I'm close, advisors can't do official transcript evaluation. So it's really important part of your process to apply for graduation if you feel like you're close. An advisor can help you look at your record and say, okay, this is the degree or certificate program you're in, and this is what you need to take. But the official word is through the getting everything evaluated, and that can take time too on the staff end to process graduation or evaluate graduation applications. Thank you, Dennis, for popping the links in.
Thank you. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, or if you would like to speak, please raise your hand and we will unmute you. Also, Sam is asking, will they be doing those evaluations during the launch? Also, if you have any questions or concerns about navigating your classes or accessing any resources, please feel free to email me in the chat and I'll make sure to direct you to someone who will be able to help. So to the panelists, a couple of questions have been raised to me before the forum regarding the services that will be down during the week and the day of and the week of the launch. So could you please talk more about that? What kind of services will be down? What kind of payments or actions should we try avoiding doing that week?
So that week of February 22nd for student services, so financial aid, registration, admissions, the key areas, they will all be closed that week. So if you reach out to them, you will not get a response that week. Some of the other areas, might be offering limited services. But the challenge is, for example, if you're working with someone in an area and you have a financial aid question, that's when you're talking to an advisor, you won't be able to get that answer if it's financial aid related or registration related or admissions related. So from Sheila's office, our PIO will be sending out an announcement to students and to the campus on what departments are closed and what are sort of open soon. So I'm just getting that information from my departments started yesterday, trying to get that locked up.
I'm going to add that Alex added her email. Also, Info Central will be available. So there are individuals that are going to be able to answer questions on campus because they're always open almost, especially Info Central is the go-to place. That if the individual department will be closed, and if it's a question that they're able to answer, we will all do our very best to answer students' questions as they come up during that time. We're really keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that the disruption won't be as critical or as tough for individuals as if you prepare really well, then it's an easy peasy kind of experience. So that's what we're trying to aim for, is to do as much preparation so that it won't be as difficult when the time comes.
So if any of our students here or any staff don't have any questions or don't have any questions at this time, who can they email if they have any concerns or, again, questions until the launch date? Who can they email or contact?
Info Central has been a really good way for people to get questions answered. And someone just dropped in the chat the link to Info Central. You can email them questions. And I know that if they don't have the answer, they have reached out to my office and to other offices to find answers for students. So that is a very good resource.
Yeah, President Sheila, I agree. Starting with Info Central, if you don't have a specific person or area in mind, because it can help not giving students the runaround. Info Central can send you to the area you need to go to or the person you need to speak with.
So another question also that I've received is there a demo for what CTC will look like, ctcLink will look like, what it will feel like the website or the app itself, if there will be?
So Alex, when we met yesterday, did you tell me that they were doing a demo for students, or were you?
I can double check that right now. I'm not sure if that was for students or for employees, but I'm checking right now.
Okay.
So as I search for that link, panelists, do you have any closing comments, any closing tips on how to prepare for ctcLink and what to expect and why it's something to look forward to?
If I could jump in, I think there is a demo. I know the student staff at Info Central will get access to the demo. Now, will the general student get it? I think that's what the ctcLink is trying, the team is trying to figure out how much of it do we preview or demo before we go. So I think it's in the works, but look for your email. But I know there's a demo site for Info Central folks and like admissions folks, like Jaleesa said, and the outreach folks. So some staff might have access to it, but I don't know what's the final decision is on the actual demo for everyone.
I can get confirmation on that and communicate with you, Dennis, and Alex.
I think the closing comments that I would offer are to, as Dr. Yoshiko suggested, do as much of your advising early. Don't wait till the last minute to be ready to register when registration reopens March 1st. And be patient with folks as we're going through this, and then use the resources and through ASC. but also through Info Central to get questions answered as you are navigating. And then help us get the word out to your fellow students that this is taking place, and that it is really going to improve the way that you interact with the college in terms of paying and registering for classes and getting your transcripts, all of those things that will make it easier for you to transfer to a 4-year if that's what you're looking to do, or complete your degree and go out into the world of work.
Yeah, I would say that the changes are there to improve your access to the information and resources on campus. Number one, I again echo what Dr. Shida and Dr. Yoshiko have stated, which is do the prep work. And then for all of the students is knowing that looking out for email information, because that's one way in which you will receive updates and additional information around this new system. Canvas, look at the phone app, and Info Central as resources for you to know what's going on, and to be able to have a place to ask questions if you get stuck somewhere. So that would be what I would say.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank student leadership and Alex for their coordinating these forums, and this particular one specific to ctcLink as a way to get the word out. So I appreciate your efforts, and I want to thank the students that joined today, and we're counting on you to, hey, did you hear about ctcLink and what's going on? I attended this forum the other day. So please be our ambassadors in getting the word out so other students aren't surprised that that couldn't be here. And thank you for your patience and grace as we've gone through COVID pandemic related, impacts and remote operations. I really appreciate that. I know that you all have lives and things are going on, and us asking you to plan earlier, maybe, which isn't your normal timeline. Oftentimes students are like, let me get through the quarter and then I'll, look at my classes for next quarter, etc. But so appreciate the grace and patience. It will be better once it's implemented, and it will be a much more efficient system. Just the reminder that look for that email on February 16th about how to registering in your ID number. The spring quarter registration, March 3rd. Tuition, March 1st is when you can activate your ctcLink account, and March 15th is when tuition's due. So those are just things in that week of February 22nd, you won't be able to get service, particularly in critical areas, admissions, registration, financial aid.
Thank you so much for being here, and for all the students that visited. Again, please share this information with your classmates, your peers, your study groups. And if there are any questions that come up or any worries, feel free to email me. I'll be putting my email again in the chat. And if you have time from noon to 1 p.m., please feel free to pass by the Cozy Talk. We'll be talking about open education resources, wherein you get free books, or books are made more accessible. So Robert, if you would like to put that in the chat, that would be wonderful. Thank you, everybody.